Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Velvetcast.
Hello!
Oh yeah, I'm your host Mitch, and I'm joined as always with Sora and Josh. This is the first one in a while, actually.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Sorry. Oops.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We had some stuff happen, but now we're live and we're ready to rock again. So in today's episode, we're gonna cover some basic topics, but the main things we're gonna talk. Let's get the meat and potatoes of this episode out of the way, like right now. Let's talk about My Hero Academia. So we watched episodes 5 through 7. It was supposed to actually only be 5 and 6, but like 6 ended in such a way that we felt the need to finish episode 7.
You know, it makes me wonder, should we switch over to a 3-episode watch?
I'm gonna say
Go
no.
ahead.
I'm gonna say no because I feel. Let me put it this way: if it concludes an arc, we'll do 3, but because that way, you know. But for the most part, I think we should be safe with 2.
Okay, because it's like the nice 40-minute session.
Yeah, it's a doable number before the cast, and then we don't scramble for 20 minutes trying to make thumbnails.
Okay.
So let's talk about what happened in this episode. The big things that happened in this episode. We got introduced to Anime Tommy Wiseau and his magic cancel scarf, and so that episode actually I kind of felt was one of the weaker episodes. I didn't really enjoy it as much because it felt like it kind of took away the importance of the test that we just went through.
Yeah, a little bit. So basically, the summary, the I forget what episode number it was, but this episode was they meet their homework teacher Aizawa. He puts the entire class through a quirk assessment test again, through a series of physical exams, basically, and he says that the person with the lowest scoring physical points, the lowest scoring test score, gets expelled. So obviously, Deku gets singled out right away because his quirk, he doesn't have control of One for All yet, so he really can only use it one time before he's completely shot. So yeah, that's kind of the main conflict. I will say, like, I'm with you. I didn't enjoy this episode as much. It was fine, but it did feel kind of like filler a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought. Go ahead.
well, that's the thing. Like, it's weird because I was under the impression that there's no filler, quote unquote, episode of My Hero Academia.
Well, there's no filler in the strictest sense of that. Like, this is following the manga still, right? So, you know, I know that there's a filler episode in the second season, but I actually enjoyed that episode. That was non-canon. Well, whatever, not for the manga more than this episode. So, whatever. We'll get there when we get there.
I mean, I thought it's like we have a little bit of it's a little bit of overexposure to like the threat of Deku not making it to UA, right?
Yeah.
By this point.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the primary purpose of this episode. It felt much more like it was getting Deku to acknowledge that it's not okay to have the one-shot ability.
Right. He can't be One Punch Man.
It's something where, well, it's like up to this point we've sort of acknowledged, I guess, passingly that yeah, Deku has like a one-shot ability, but it also like brings him out of the fight. But we haven't really had a chance in universe to acknowledge that that's a really, really bad thing, and it does have really bad consequences for him in any kind of situation. And I think that was the main thing that we got from the episode, but it's a little bit inelegant, I guess, putting that against something like that's supposed to put so much tension onto like all that's going on.
And it was like it was a decent opportunity to show off the quirks of the rest of the classmates, however briefly, that we haven't met yet. You know, like we get to see. Go for it.
No, it's like we get a little bit of drama fatigue at this point.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I feel like the next 2 episodes do a really great job of showcasing some of the classmates' quirks and such. Like, I felt like that was I prefer the next 2 episodes way more than I prefer episode 5.
I mean,
oh sure.
Let's face it, the reason why you like the next 2 episodes is just because of Bakugo.
Yeah, but I like Bakugo because I like
Everybody likes Bakugo.
Yeah, because he's a great. Fuck it. Let's just go into the next set of episodes. So, okay. So
much more interesting, anyways.
Yeah. So in the next 2 episodes, you have all the heroes get their little costumes that they design themselves, to a degree, and you know, we have the rival establishment of fucking Deku versus Bakugo, and it's. I like how Bakugo is literally that character in anime or in stories where it's like, you're destined for greatness. All the adults like get into his fucking 6-year-old face, and it's just like, you're destined for greatness. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Like I hate not that I hate it, but like I understand where people come from where they're like, oh man, I don't understand why Bakugo is such a douche. It's like, dude, he grew up with everyone yelling in his face that he's the best, and no one ever. No one told him no.
Like, to take it even further, though, I think it's more than that. I think Bakugo internally really fears not being the best.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, every time someone does anything, like, literally anything better than him, he just gets super pissed off and, like, becomes a huge asshole.
Well, I think it's also even more fascinating in that, like, specifically his quirk is such a huge part of his identity, and the fact that his quirk is what makes him special. His quirk is what makes him better than Deku in his eyes. And so the fact that Deku now has a super flashy quirk, as it were, like Bakugo just cannot handle that. He thinks that Deku is purposely playing a trick on just him, just to spite Bakugo. Like, that's how narcissistic he is. It's kind of crazy. And it makes for a really fascinating character dynamic.
Well, it's like, you know, if you have everybody telling you from the very beginning, like, oh yeah, you're special, dude. You're going to be like the best hero ever, and you suddenly see someone who, you know, you think you've never acknowledged them. You've always thought, you know, they were shit, and you know, it just slightly annoys you that they one-upped you just once, and then suddenly he's like this huge deal, you know. You can't help but feel a little bit insecure.
Well, I think we learned a valuable lesson today. That My Hero Academia had one of the best conclusions to this fight. Like,
we could probably explain what the fight setup was, right?
So, okay, go ahead.
So basically, this is the practical. This is like the practical hero course, right? That's the course that All Might teaches. So first off, we got to see everybody's costumes. All the students sent in their costume designs to the support groups, and then they made like a specialty company made their costumes a reality and stuff. So they got to wear we got to see everybody in their hero uniforms, as it were.
Man, professional cosplay makers.
Hell yeah, dude. And so then they're split up into teams of 2 randomly. But then of course, Best Girl Uraraka and Deku end up on the same team, and they end up having to go up against Bakugo and Ida. So Ida and Bakugo have to play the role of villains, fittingly enough, and defend a fake weapon in a building from Uraraka and Deku. And so Uraraka and Deku are basically assaulting the building that Bakugo and Ida are holding down. So immediately Bakugo singles out Deku because he wants a one-on-one fight, and that's kind of what these next 2 episodes focus on. Okay, that's the synopsis. Sorry, we can keep going.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. The fight is super interesting. One of my favorite turnarounds of all time is just the idea of Deku just fucking flipping Bakugo. That is.
You know, if you paid attention, Bakugo actually flips Deku the exact same way later on in the fight.
Oh, really? Does he? Just to spite him? That's awesome. So like Deku just reads Bakugo like a book, like, because he has the same opening, like, big right hook, right? So Deku immediately read that punch and was able to fucking check him. It was sweet. Oh, it was so good.
Oh man, and that's the thing. Like, it's weird because, like, I feel like My Hero Academia is one of those like, I don't get excited for, like, if someone's. When we were younger, someone would show me like a clip of like an anime, like, oh yeah, check out this fight scene, Mitchell, and then like I'd look at it and be like, it's not as good. I don't get hyped for these types of fights anymore, but like this one was interesting. And I think that's My Hero Academia in a nutshell. It's interesting.
I mean, you know, at this point in most shonen battle series, it's usually like you'll have a similar kind of setup, you know, you'll have like the cool and like calculating like master strategist versus like some hothead, and you'll have them fight out, and the master strategist will win because the hothead is just too stupid to adjust.
But like
this one, like Bakugo is actually pretty smart.
Yeah. And I like that they even address it. Like he's actually incredibly talented. Like he's able to very precisely use his quirk.
He also had the... Oh, go for it, Josh.
I think that's part of what's attractive about his character is that, like, even though we give him such shit for being a huge narcissistic asshole, he also does have, like, the power to back it up.
He does, and the smarts, too, because he had the wherewithal to design his costume specifically to have reservoirs for his nitroglycerin sweat so he can let off huge blasts. That is so cool. That was really... Yeah.
It must be hard to be a teenager with that ability.
What, explosive sweat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explosive sweat coming from your hands. What are you talking about, Mitch?
Just saying, I can see why he's pissed all the time. I don't know. I'm just.
God damn it!
It's a silly joke. I don't know. I can. Anyways, I like that's the thing. I like how the fight with I feel like we're so consumed with like the Bakugo and Midoriya bit that like there's the entire other bit where Josh fought like I'm trying to think of like a good example of a character. I can't remember her name.
Uraraka.
Uraraka.
You got it.
That's.
Please tell me there's a shorter way to say that.
No. There's like Ochako, which is her,
Ochako. That's
first name, but like there's no shorter way.
Fine, Choco it is.
Gravity Girl.
Shit,
you just Gravity
like...
Girl.
So Choco goes to fight Josh, and I thought that was a very interesting use of her abilities. At the very end, where she where she uses her ability to make zero gravity, and like bats a bunch of debris at Josh. It was pretty great.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it sort of sucked.
Yeah. What? Really? Oh.
No, I'm talking in character. Goddammit.
Yeah. I also loved how Josh just went into full villain mode. Like, he was just trying so hard. Like, in order to be a hero, I must embody the entirety of villainy. It's just having a really forced-ass maniacal laugh. It's just...
Yeah.
Oh, Ida.
No, man, it was super serious.
Oh, so, like the episodes are just fun. I think that's another thing that kind of like, and I remember I think we were like halfway through an episode or something like that, but like these, like the thing I'll say is like every episode of My Hero Academia so far is really packed, except for 5. 5 felt like it dragged a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. But I think I only think there's a handful of episodes looking forward that I felt like we're like, okay, this could have been a little shorter. Everything else is like, wow, this is a lot is happening. Oh, woo, yeah. So I think that's one of its biggest strengths is its pacing for sure.
I like how I also wanted to point out how interesting it is that Deku, because of the secret of All for One, this is like it's interesting how like he has to like. I just like the dynamic between the two. The fact that like, you know, he's been known for being quirkless this whole time, and so this whole thing is literally just a giant misunderstanding.
Oh yeah, Bakugo is so pissed at Deku, going into it thinking, "Oh, you're just having one up, having one on me, aren't you?"
Yeah. Like it does a really good. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say yes. It was part of my 6-year joke plan. I've been planning this since I
tortured by you throughout all of middle school and elementary school.
It was all part of my giant prank. I've been planning since I was 5.
You sure feel stupid now, don't you?
Yeah, 7 years into my joke. Oh, that's some dedication. That's some dedication to my joke.
Like the elementary schooler who can pull that off deserves to like rule the world.
Right, like just the fact that Bakugo holds that worldview is just so telling of his character. It's just so insane.
Oh, you were making fun of me the whole time, laughing behind my back.
Right.
Honestly, like even with like all the really big overarching world stuff, I think the Bakugo Midoriya stuff is still the best part of this series.
I think so too. It really does give the two characters some really solid motivations. I understand why these two are going at each other so fiercely. You know, it's I think it's really well done. I think that this fight served as an excellent setup for our two. I don't know if I call them both protagonists, but you know, these two, you know, top billing characters, why they are the way they are. It was really neat setup.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it.
All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about with these episodes? I feel like this is one of those episodes especially because of all the action that happens in it. It's better to watch this than to, you know, hear us kind of talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the one thing is that even though I've seen this episode in particular before, and I've read the manga for this segment before, it still sort of struck me when you saw at the end of the fight where Deku goes, "This was the only thing I could do.
The only thing I could think of to win." Yeah.
And I think it's that desperation in him that's just so good.
He never wins without a price. Like, it's not like he just doesn't. He never walks away from a battle unscathed. You know, like he's always has a price for his tenacity, as it were. So, yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh man. All right. So that leads us into our next sub. Speaking of super powerful beings and heroes, that leads us into our next topic for tonight. Sora and I this weekend caught Thor Ragnarok.
Hell yeah!
All right, so Josh hasn't seen this, and because the movie just came out this week, we will be doing a spoiler-free kind of talk about it.
Yeah, dude, I fucking loved it when Spider-Man showed up, like, you know, halfway through. Like, that was just insane. I was not expecting that.
Oh, I love how Robert Downey Jr. had a milkshake at that one bar, and then was like,
dude, the fact that they finally worked out the rights and fucking Hugh Jackman showed up. Oh, it was great.
And then my mind is melting. Stop.
and then instead of the big bad being like Ultron or something like that, it was just Doctor Doom. Oh yeah.
Fuck. I knew it. It was a mistake not to watch this movie. This was like just Planet Hulk plus everything else.
I almost would argue that this is probably Marvel's Citizen Kane. I would say.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Fucking better than Orson Welles.
Oh no. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so. This is, I don't know which number. This is how long we've been into the MCU. It's been about. It's almost
like I just watched a review of this, so I think they said this is the 17th Marvel movie.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they might not be the exact right number, but we're in that ballpark.
I mean, we're almost at a. Are we over a decade?
Iron Man was 2008, I think.
Well, remember the Hulk movie was before that.
Well. There was a Hulk movie before this, but like I think we're only counting specifically like Iron Man is the start of the MCU.
I thought they had the Tony Stark cameo in it.
No, I thought that was the Edward Norton one, and that came out after Iron Man.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. And even then, like they kind of decanonized it because Edward Norton didn't. They switched back. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyways,
all right, yeah. Let's talk about Ragnarok.
Marvel's been going a long ass time.
So this is the 17th Marvel film. They decided to go with a new director for this one. I want to say it's Aika. I want to say that's the guy's name.
Ragnar. Hold on one sec. It's a New Zealand filmmaker who's done some other stuff that I've seen. I'm gonna butcher his name. Taika Waititi.
Okay. All right. So we had a new director on this. Now, for those of you who don't know at home, Thor is one of my personal favorite Avengers. I think that he's a fun character, and you know, whenever he is in the Avengers stuff. But after Thor: The Dark World, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Thor: The Dark World, I still like Thor, but holy shit, that is not a good film.
It had space elves.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did have space elves. It ruined space elves. So okay, so let's kind of get into not. It's kind of hard to do this without spoiling some things because there's a lot of things that like are intricate to the plot. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk to you about, Zor, was the fact that I wish I didn't know the Hulk was going to be in this film.
Yeah, same. I kind of wish I had gone in here in without watching the trailers because I was surprised by how coy they were playing with like leading up to that scene. It's like, well, like this is the money shot you show in the trailers. Like there's no suspense here, you know, like I know who this character is. Like you just get on with it, you know?
Okay, so if that's the case, can we talk about how nobody should ever watch trailers for movies
I know.
if they want to enjoy the movie?
I will say on the flip side of that is that I did not like Thor 2 and I sort of was meh on Thor 1. So if I had not seen that trailer and knew that kind of like the trailers are what sold me on this movie, like the tone, like the trailers, the tone of the trailers, like that's what sold that sold tickets, you know, that sold my ticket basically. Because like if I had not seen that trailer, I would have just assumed that this was another, you know, this is just going to be another Thor movie that's kind of self-serious and, you know, a little bit bogged down by, you know, its lore. So I was going to skip it. I mean, I probably would have heard positive word of mouth or whatever, but the trailers were at least effective in conveying the tone of the movie and selling me on it, basically.
Yeah,
even though
I mean, it seems like, you know, Thor is getting fairly decent reviews, right?
Yeah.
It's
I feel like that would have carried it through even with, like, you know, having a trailer that didn't show, like, that hand.
Yeah, I guess. And that's not to say that it doesn't, like, the trailer didn't spoil everything. You know, there's some surprises in this movie, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, there's, especially around the start of the third act.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that happens that, like, I wasn't expecting. And the one thing that
so that's where like Magneto bursts onto the scene.
Yeah. Where the mutants show up. The mutants are here.
Yeah. Everyone thinks because of the trailers that it's Hela that shatters the hammer. It's actually Magneto.
Oh fuck.
Michael Fassbender. It's not even shit. I can't remember the guy's name now.
Wow.
It's Gandalf.
Yeah.
Ian
McKellen or something?
Ian McKellen. It's not Ian McKellen, it's just Michael Fassbender.
Shit. I'm like 10 times less excited for this movie now.
So here's the thing. My dad actually absolutely hates Thor, actually.
Okay.
And I went to go take my mom to go see this film, and then she took my dad to go see this film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my dad texted me and was like, Mitchell, I think I'm turned on Thor now. Like
nice.
This is his, the way that he described it actually was, I think, is pretty generally, it's pretty true. This film feels more like a Guardians film than a Marvel film.
Does. Yes.
I mean, shouldn't this have been how Thor should have been? Like really weird and like
just really campy and
colorful.
Well, hypothetically speaking, yes, but like I feel like because the first Thor is as some critics will put, Shakespeare in space, and it's dramatic, it's, you know, it's serious in its tone, still a fun little adventure though, and it has little bits and quips of comedy. In Thor 2, The Dark World, it gets even more serious with like little bits and quips of comedy. With this, it's still somewhat serious, but it takes the Guardians of the Galaxy attitudes and like, you know, and sense of humor. And Chris Hemsworth is a stupidly funny guy.
He really is.
He delivers some pretty stellar jokes.
Dude, like, I feel like everybody does. Everybody's got jokes in this movie. I was so surprised. Even fucking Anthony Hopkins. Like, it's like, whoa, it's hilarious.
Oh my god, no! I fucking like this movie is an incredibly, like, that's the thing. It's an incredibly fun film. It's what Thor should be. Thor should be this level of, like, you know, fun, and, you know, it shouldn't always be Shakespeare in space. And I'm really glad that it kind of took the mark of almost like permission, if you will, from Guardians, where Guardians was really out there, and now it you know, Chris Hemsworth didn't want to do another Thor film.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't know that.
Well, like, I remember. Well, I can't remember if it was that he didn't want to do another one, or the fact that because he I don't know. I remember something about how he wasn't really interested in continuing the character. And I would hope that with this one, where they had more moments of like improv, and it was something different, that they would be, the kind of like, because after doing the same job, like especially a job like this, where it was for him, where he has to stay super in shape for all the filming and everything, and you get paid all that money, but you're an actor, you probably want to like work on something different or something fun, and I would hope that like the cast had fun on this one.
I think they did. It looks like everyone was having fun. It was a lot of fun all around, honestly.
I love how one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie is just Chris Hemsworth telling a story to other characters, and the way that he tells it is just so funny.
And then I think I know which one you're talking about. The what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The smile at the end, it was so good.
Oh yeah. I watched this film in like an old one of the older theaters that it has a huge screen, and it's just like a single screening theater, and the entire theater was filled, and like it was every moment was filled with like laughter. There wasn't a joke that didn't sell. Jeff Goldblum in this movie is
oh my
just
God,
yucking it up.
Jeff Goldblum was playing what the entire internet thinks Jeff Goldblum is, and it's perfect.
Oh,
it's so good.
And that's the thing. The casting for every single one of these actors and actresses was really good. It was really solid. There's tons of surprises. There's tons of fun stuff. The promotional, I will say, while the promotional stuff I feel like with the Hulk thing did kind of ruin that little aspect of it. Like there's tons of stuff that just was not in the trailers. Tons of stuff that was just fun. I liked. This is a minor spoiler for the very beginning of the film, but if you had watched Doctor Strange, you knew that him and Thor were going to meet at some point. So they kind of do a continuation of that scene. And one of the things that I talked to my sister about after she went to go see the film was, hey, it looks like they can write Doctor Strange somehow, because that's the one. I think that's what it boils down to. Doctor Strange is a super interesting and fun character when he's not in his own movie. Or when he's properly written. Like those strange shit or the bizarre shit around him with the magic and stuff, when it's unexplained, is super hilarious.
So it's sort of like the Hand in Daredevil.
Yes.
As long as they're in the background, they work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that Doctor Strange works through the perspective of other people, not necessarily through the perspective of Doctor Strange. And yeah, I mean, without giving out too much away, this film is just really good. I hope it's not overhyped or oversaturated for you guys. I know the advertising was everywhere. If you're in the mood to go see something fun and something a little different, that has some camp and some. I will also say this real quick before I go and try to close this up for Thor, because I feel like we're going a bit about it. Tom Hiddleston, yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried that after seeing Loki for the 4th time, that that charm or that that little deception would kind of wear off. That was a real fear going into the film, because a character like Loki's only interesting by not seeing him as often. But I like how they semi-addressed that a little bit. In closer to the middle to the end of the film, they kind of address the idea of like, hey, Loki, them's the breaks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously not trying to spoil. But yeah. So, anything you want to add to before we close it out?
Like you said, I think this film was best summarized as a solid follow-up to Guardians of the Galaxy in a really weird way. I like my superhero movies exactly like this, where they know how to have fun and not take themselves too seriously, while still being lots of great action. The colors in this movie, like, holy shit, the colors were so vibrant. Like, I loved the cinematography in this movie. It was so good. I mean, just look at the posters. Really, like the post, like this, like the full cast poster is probably one of my favorite movie posters of recent memories, just because it's so elegantly designed. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I was still skeptical going in just because I wasn't a huge fan of the first 2 Thor movies. But yeah, I give this one a solid recommendation. And I don't really think you need to know too much about the Marvel Universe to go into this one, I think. I think it's a good standalone. So yeah, go watch it.
Yeah. All right. Which now we enter the okay. So do you want to enter general, or do you want to take the Blizzard stuff and make that into a new subject? Because I was gonna go next with Mario.
Okay. Do we want to do Blizzard and then Mario?
Let's just do Mario quick.
Okay. All right. Am I ready?
Yep. Yeah. It's up.
All right, cool. So I fucking got Mario Odyssey last Friday, and I'm sure everyone's heard this like 70,000 times already, and they're probably tired of hearing about Mario, but god damn it, guys, I need to talk about Mario. It is so fucking good. Like, god damn it. Oh, how does Nintendo keep doing it? It is so, like, from the top, I'm not actually a huge Mario fan. I've always preferred Zelda. Zelda's been my favorite Nintendo franchise. I've always enjoyed Mario. I have most of the games. And I have fond memories of them, but Zelda has always been like my core quote-unquote Nintendo franchise. So while I was excited for Mario, I was like, all right, yeah, I'll get it day one, and it'll be a fun Mario game. It'll be a good time, and I'll enjoy it. And that's kind of how I felt about 3D World. That's how I felt about Galaxy. And yeah, Odyssey has frankly blown me away. Like, just in terms of design, in terms of charm, in terms of like just fan service and stuff. Like I don't know. I guess I should say from the top how far I am. I've beaten the game, but I am not even close to actually finishing it. Like I finished the story, but the main collectible in this game are moons, and there are like 830 moons you have to collect. Like, I think Korok seed levels of amounts of moons you can find in this game, and I have about 300. So yeah, I'm like less than halfway done still, and this game. A lot of people are comparing it to Breath of the Wild in weird ways, and while they're both definitely very, very strange, very different in terms of design, they do evoke. I do get similar feelings in terms of discovery. Like, I'm always discovering new ways to platform across levels and stuff like that. Like your ability to throw your hat adds so much to the game. Like you can do incredibly long, like crazy jumps. I don't know if you guys have seen GIFs of speedrunners or whatever trying to break this game in half, but they're doing crazy shit with Mario, and his moveset is just so much fun to use. Like, I don't even know. I'm just gonna gush for a little bit, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna gush. The amount of variety in this game is insane. Like, so the main gimmick of this game is you can throw your hat onto enemies and you can quote unquote capture them. So Mario takes them over. You can throw your hat onto a Goomba, and suddenly you're Mario Goomba with blue eyes and a mustache, and you're jumping around hopping like a Goomba. And so there's like, I think 50 different enemies you can capture, which leads to all these different movesets that you have to kind of come to terms with. They're all pretty simple on the face of it, but like as soon as you capture an enemy, like you start to see like the possibilities of the level around you. Like you'll capture this one like onion looking plant thing, and then its only ability is to grow super tall and then fall over basically from where you're the height of where you grew. And so it feels like a lame power, and then you just start to realize like, oh shit, there's so much built around this power that I can do so much with it, So it's just I don't want to linger on it too long because I'm the only one here who's played it, and it's going to be a very one-way conversation. I'm sorry.
From what I've heard, it's like Mario games have always been like level design 101.
Yes, yeah, and that's true. Like, but I feel like, and obviously I'm a little too close to the game right now. I feel like I need to let it simmer for a little bit and see where I land on it a few months from now. But I feel like I haven't had this much fun with a Mario game since since Super Mario 64. Because so like the thing is that like and you're right, it is level design 101, but with the recent 3D Mario games, they went with a more kind of linear structure of it. Like with Galaxy and Galaxy 2, the idea was that you would have like each star that you collect was a very linear like platforming challenge, which was very fun because it was so tightly designed, and it was really, really cool. And it was a lot of fun. And up until now, that was my favorite Mario game, was Galaxy 2 specifically, just because the level design was so tight. But Odyssey kind of blends the kind of design mantras of both Galaxy and something a little bit more open, like Sunshine or Super Mario 64, where like in those games you would have set levels with an open world that you could kind of explore and find shines or stars or whatever organically. And the fact that like there are literally 800 moons just out in the world for you to get whenever you want to. And whenever you pick up a moon, it just, it says, hey, you got a moon, nice job. And then you can keep playing. Like, it doesn't boot you out back to the hub world or anything like that. You just keep exploring. It leads to these opportunities where you're just kind of discovering organically, as well as navigating very, very set, precise, like finely tuned platforming challenges. So you get kind of the best of both worlds and a lot of both worlds, which is why I feel like Odyssey is such a charming game. Like, I don't know, it's just such a juggernaut. Yeah, I don't know. I'm addicted to it. I am loving the gameplay loop of finding new moons to unlock new worlds and to unlock new costumes in the shop. Mario can have costumes now. I dress up as fucking like a Chef Mario. That's fucking dope. I don't know. The amount of fan service in this game, and I don't want to get spoiled. I don't want to get too spoilery, but the game goes places that will touch the hearts of any kind of long-term Nintendo fan, I would say. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, what else can I really say about this game that everybody else hasn't already said? But if you were thinking of, like, honestly, if there was ever a system seller for the Switch between this and Breath of the Wild, like, I think you're good to go. They're both two amazing games. And, yeah, I don't know. They're going to be talked about for a really long time. So, yeah, I guess I'll check in on my Mario Odyssey progress. I'm 350 moons deep, so I'm slowing down a little bit on the game right now. I binged it for like this past week, but I'm probably going to slow down and kind of play it here and there and get a few moons here and there, and yeah, we'll keep checking it. But yeah, I don't know. Anybody want to know anything more about Odyssey?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just had
you can hear Mitchell just not caring.
Well, no, I'm happy for you for liking this game. I personally am not I played Sunshine and 64 and I liked Galaxy when we did it on the channel. But like Mario isn't a big seller for me, so I don't.
Yeah, no, I get it. I do get it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
When I come visit near the end of the month, I'll bring. I have Odyssey just on a cartridge, so I'll bring it and we can check it out if you want.
So I've always thought of Mario as being like a good entry point for like, beginning gamers. Would you consider Odyssey like that, or are the mechanics too complex?
No, not at all. I think actually, if anything, Odyssey's airs a little bit too much on the easy side, and I feel like the way it appeals to a hardcore crowd is just by like challenging a completionist attitude by saying, all right, you want 100% this game? Go find 150 of these fucking moons, all right?
I guess one thing that I've always been sort of concerned about is, we've always had this gulf between like casual gaming and like hardcore gaming. Yeah. And it always felt like it'd been getting wider and wider as time went on. So it's really nice to hear that at the very least, Mario is serving that introductory tier.
Definitely, I think it's an awesome entry point because there is a wide I touched on the fact that people were breaking open this game as far as like doing crazy, extreme long jumps with chaining all these stupid moves together, but you never need to use any of that, right? In fact, this game dropped the live system altogether. When Mario dies, quote unquote, you just lose 10 coins. That's all. Like there's no game over screen. So the game is very, very forgiving. And it kind of lets you play how you want to. So I definitely think it's solid. It could be somebody's first platforming game, and I think they'd be fine. So
okay, so it's like it's good to hear that it still caters to everybody.
Definitely, Nintendo knows how to keep their games accessible when they want to.
All right,
cool.
Well then, okay. Speaking of Mario.
Oh no, this is a segue, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's talk about Honor and Glory.
Okay, yeah.
no segue. Okay, so let's talk about what happened this last week. We had BlizzCon.
Okay.
This last week. For those of you who don't know on the channel, me, Sora, and Josh all play Overwatch. Some of us play Heroes of the Storm. I myself only play. I'm the only one of us who plays Hearthstone.
Hey man, you made me play Hearthstone with you for a little bit.
Yeah,
and I thought it was boring.
I like it. Fuck you. So,
I still play the superior card game, Magic.
We lost like 60 subs. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
No. I like Magic too. But okay. So you know what the appeal of Hearthstone is for me it's the fact that I can play it on my phone whenever I want. When I'm out and about and I need to kill some time, I can just do a round of Hearthstone.
Man.
That being said, okay, so let's talk about specifically because there's a lot of Overwatch news. Let's just talk about the first one though. Honor and Glory was the new Reinhardt short. We got to I'll get to that in a second. So this is probably one of my favorite shorts. This one was really, really well executed. I was not a big fan of Last Bastion, and I was not a big fan of the main one. But
I thought that like the Reinhardt short was actually sort of weak, personally.
Okay.
But go on. Like I want to hear your reasons first before I dismantle them point by point.
Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's
no.
That's fair. That's fair.
Everyone can have their own opinions.
Right. Not all of us can be perfect, like you would say, Josh. You condescending piece of shit. No, okay. So here's the thing. I feel like this is mainly because I didn't like the May one, and I wanted an Overwatch short with a character that like I felt would be interesting to look at. I like the idea that we were able to see the Crusaders. I like the idea that we were able to, it's kind of from a storyteller's perspective, it's kind of a told story. It's someone who gets thrust into a situation where they have to be responsible and stuff like that. They have to, stop being such a cocky asshole, that kind of thing. As I look directly into Titus's eyes from Final Fantasy X, they gotta stop being a dick, and they gotta, be a team player and stuff like that. And I know we've seen the story before, but I think the reason I like this so much is because it's one of the older characters of Overwatch. It's Reinhardt. It's a character that he's in the meta. He's one of the most popular heroes. He has.
I'd like him to be one of the most popular heroes, but nobody plays him.
Well, funny enough, our DM Aaron is like one of the. I think he told me he's like one of the top 500 Reinhardt players.
Yeah, but that's because he's a good person.
Just like Reinhardt.
Terrible people don't play Reinhardt.
Who are these scumbags that you play Overwatch with?
What I play with in like competitive.
Where's the scumbag tech coming from? No, so I really like the short. I thought it was really well done. I like the voice. I like the voice actor for Reinhardt too, and I like how. I don't know. It was just once again. I keep saying the phrase. It's just kind of fun, but like it's something that I'm noticing a lot with some of the things that happened this week. Was I like this short a lot because not only was it fun, but it gave me, for me personally, gave me a window into a character I really like. And maybe that's it. Maybe I it's not that I don't like May, but I don't. I was more interested in seeing this one than I was the May one. And that because when I say I don't like the May one, it's not that I don't like it. It's just comparatively to the other shorts, I like the other shorts more.
Definitely. So, I thought this one had more heart in it. No pun intended.
It was also.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it was also really cool to see the OR-15s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
The OR-15 seemed like really. I want an OR-15 hero now, just because I want to have like that blade instead of the stupid grabby bubble.
Oh right.
Oh, I was gonna say you have an OR-15 hero.
No, I refuse to think of Orisa as that. I want that blade back. I want to stab people.
Sora, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was like a nice kind of. It was a solid way to give some pathos to both Reinhardt as a character and Eichenwald the map, right? Like that. Now we kind of really know exactly what went down on that in that area. So, Yeah, it was cool to see. It was kind of cool and funny to see Reinhardt as the shitty tank that everyone hates. That like literally they say like Reinhardt, you need to protect your team. It's like, oh, they'll be fine.
They should have been staring directly at the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it was good to see like a kind of, you know, you didn't really see too much growth in him, but like it was good to see that there is some growth there, I guess. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like actual like plot, it's nothing we haven't really seen before in other mediums, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was a solid short that, you know, gave some extra, you know, extra weight to Reinhardt's backstory. So I enjoyed it for what it was. It was interesting, and I'd watch more.
I guess it comes to me now.
Yeah, go ahead, tear it apart.
No, I think it's mostly just a critique I have with all of the Blizzard shorts.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, okay.
It's that they paint very, very broad strokes.
Oh,
in,
sure.
The shorts. You know, it's like they're very good at sort of representing like all the simple emotions of it all. Like, oh yeah, the world could always use more heroes. Oh no, Mondada died, or oh, Mei is so, you know, strong for getting herself out of the terrible situation where all of her crew members died. Or oh, Bastion, he's so lonely. He's the last of the Bastion units, and he's suffering from like robotic PTSD. But at the same time, it's something where like all the characters are made with like a really broad brush. And I think initially when I started playing Overwatch, I had a problem with it, I guess, because none of the characters really actually appealed to me on a lot of levels, I guess, because like they didn't really have much going on under the hood except for, you know, that gesture. Like in The Great Gatsby, like Nick Carraway says, oh, if a good personality is a series of successful gestures, then Gatsby was like the most, you know, enchanting, blah, blah, blah. But in Overwatch, everyone's just one gesture, I guess. And like, I really enjoy Reinhardt as a character in game. I think he's probably one of the most fun characters in the game, actually, because I just love all his voice lines. But I felt like I did not get anything new out of Reinhardt in the short. Like I felt like there was no real good expansion on him, and you know, as soon as you hear the first lines of Reinhardt being all cocky, you absolutely know everything else that's going to happen in the short. Well, yeah. I still got goosebumps when I saw, you know, what was his name?
Baldric.
Like, yeah, Baldric, you know, making his last stand and like fighting against all these OR-15s and like, you know, being a general hero and a badass. But at the same time, you know, like we always went on about how, oh yeah, it's like Pixar level production quality, and oh yeah, so like Overwatch is so strong in its narrative. I don't think that's actually true.
Well, like I'll agree with that. I'll agree on with that, because there's something that I noticed with this watching. Well, it's not with this one, but I noticed it with the Mei short, which was, all right, this all feels like it's leading nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Like this feels like, because like initially I was under the impression that, like, you know, oh, the shorts are leading up to something, but after, like, we're in our second year of these shorts, and I feel like it's not really going anywhere. Like,
it's like, does Overwatch even really have a story?
It does. Right, yeah. It does to a degree in the with the inclusion of the comics and stuff. But I actually.
But I mean, like anything other than a backstory. I mean.
Well, no, they do have.
They have one. They have one that really expands on the current story.
Yeah, there's the Zarya comic.
But even then, it's like these comics are like 10 pages long. Well, you're not telling anything.
Well, my problem with the Zarya comic was the fact that, like, they teased it as a short and then it came out as a comic. Like, I felt I'm not the biggest Zarya player in Overwatch, but I but
that would be me.
Yeah, like I felt bad for the fans of Zarya who got teased at the idea of seeing their character in a short, and then they just got the comic. Not to say the comic wasn't good, but the comic also felt like it wasn't fulfilling. And I know a lot of fans out there, including myself, who's like, maybe Overwatch would be an interesting movie or an interesting TV show or something like that, like a Netflix series or something like that. But I think the problem is, it's almost like I'm worried. Like, I want it, but I'm also worried what would happen if it happens. Because the brush strokes of this are so broad, like, I don't know if like I'll like what comes out, or like, or something like that. Like, I still want it, but I feel like these shorts aren't really leading to anything. And like there is the emotional. I will admit I did get grasped. Like my heart got grasped by Reinhardt at the very end, where he was he's 61 years old and he's going to answer the call. And it's that thing where it's like you feel that in that moment, but like I don't. Unless this is all building up to something, then it's nothing, and that sucks.
I find it interesting that you noticed it with the May cinematic, that you thought that way, but it's something where, because I like Reinhardt so much, I noticed it particularly badly with this cinematic. So I guess for me, it's a little bit of an inversion. Where it's like, because I like this character, it's like I can't handle how broad and like sort of nowhere facing all this seems to be.
Well, I guess like Infiltration was the last short that kind of dealt with something, but even then that turned out to be nothing. Like, one of the things I didn't like about the Doomfist comic, for example, was the fact that like Doomfist makes a comment about how, it seems like Sombra's quite ambitious and she did all this, and this, and Reaper's like, yeah, I know. I knew she did that. It's like, what do you mean you knew she did that?
Right. It just kind of nullifies any sort of like tension and sort of I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like an odd retcon. It took Sombra as being like, it took the idea of Sombra being smarter than Talon, and was like, no, and she's just a petulant child who's, I don't know. It felt like it devalued the short.
Well, didn't Sombra's short come out at last year's BlizzCon?
Yeah.
It's like, it's sort of mind-boggling to me, because it's like, it's been a full year.
And nothing happened. I mean, the comic happened, but nothing happened. Yeah. And the comic revealed Sombra's real name.
Okay.
Olivia Colomar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a name.
The fact that like
I read the comic, but I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
No, God, this sucks. like it sucks that like this is kind of the vibe we get from progressions in the story. I like the short as a short. I like the short as a piece in the overall picture of what we're getting is baffling in terms of like, because nothing seems to be adding up to anything. And even when we get to the next topic, there's something I kind of want to talk about in terms of how they handled her release too, because it feels like a lot of Overwatch's story is just speculation.
Right.
The fandom is just theorizing what's going to happen.
I mean, I think it's a lot like how they handled the Sombra ARG, which is, I feel like we are doing much more of the job of storytelling than Blizzard is.
Do you think they're like trying to see which ones are the best plot threads and they just go with that?
I mean, it's something where I feel like the fans themselves, because they're so passionate about the game, put a lot more effort and time into like the story than like you get on the Blizzard end. Because honestly, at the end of the day, Blizzard doesn't actually need to make a story for Overwatch. Because people will play the game for the gameplay, but but I think that it's sort of a crappy thing to do, to sell a game on these characters without doing anything with them.
Well, that's how I was sold on the game initially. There's a whole video about it, actually. The fucking the Labris episode of P4AU. We did nothing but talk about Overwatch and how the short sold us on a first-person shooter. I don't play first-person shooters, so that was a big deal for me. And, like, I feel cheated almost in certain respects. I don't know, but anyways, let's get to the next topic. Because talking about getting cheated, no, it's not. It's Moira. It's Moira.
Okay, like what?
So are you guys excited for Moira?
I am excited for Moira. Yes, she.
As a healer main, I'm just happy we have another healer.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be busy playing Moira and being bad at her, but at least we have more healing on the team.
No. I'm excited for the more healing.
Guys,
because we're actually going to play supports.
Yes, and she does the Naruto run, guys. She's perfect.
Oh, yeah. God. Okay, so Moira is the reason why there was something I wanted to talk about real quick because this is something that's weird about how Blizzard does its things. So you know Reaper's ghost ability, where his wraith form. You can thank Moira for that. Apparently. Like, in her short, it's revealed that, like, apparently she did some testing on him, and that's why he's able to do it. And it also revealed that, like, Symmetra's boss or friend or something that works for Vishkar is also working for Talon, and they just kind of nudged that little bit there. So, yeah. Storytelling isn't Blizzard's strong suit.
I mean, I think, it's a lot of sort of nudge, wink, wink stuff.
Yeah.
For the people who figure it out, like, and spend the time to do it, it feels really good. But for everybody else, it's sort of, I guess I noticed it, or I guess I didn't.
Well,
and go ahead.
All I was gonna say was just I like Moira's inclusion. I like that she's 49 years old. I like the older characters of Overwatch because it helps you remind me that anime isn't real, and that once you get past the age of 18 that you're just trash forever.
Yep. There you go.
And I like the idea that all the heroes of Overwatch are like 26 to like 61. I totally forgot to include D.Va and Junkrat in that, or Junkrat and Lucio. No, I think Junkrat and Tracer are the same age. Anyways, the point is that Moira's cool. I like when I first saw footage of her, I was like, oh shit, her attack is just Symmetra's fucking beam, sucking the life out of people.
Yeah,
and then she has the healing orb that she just throws, and it actually visually looks really cool. Where you shoot it above and it heals all your friends and stuff.
I really would have liked really a vampire healer tank almost with just this massive HP pool, and then they can give their HP to other people and then suck HP out of others. That would have been fun.
I'm just glad that not only do we have a new healer, but it's a new Talon healer, which means that the next Talon member has to be a tank. So that we can have our full team.
They might just give us another DPS.
Oh my god. Please, no.
God, no, it's just Hanzo.
Since they gave us a tank and a healer just now, so maybe.
Well, that's the thing. Doomfist, I think, was originally supposed to be a tank.
Really? Interesting.
I think so. But anyways, Moira, so I love the fact that she when you see her and I'm staring at her design right now a little bit, you do get design wise it's not my favorite design ever, but I'll live with it.
Really? I actually think it might be my favorite of the deal. Maybe next to Ana, I think it's my favorite of design.
Okay. That yeah.
The DLC here. Sorry, the DLC. The DLC. That's the big
Well, Sombra and Ana are mine.
Gotcha.
Like I like, because that's the thing. Like I like. Don't get me wrong. I still like this character. A lot of people online say they get like David Bowie vibes.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, there's literally like a Joestar skin for her, right?
Oh yeah,
really?
glam.
Really?
Yeah. There's the glam skin. Yeah.
Oh hell yes.
And
Okay.
I think she's just David Bowie.
Okay. Yes.
I like how her ult is a healing Kamehameha, but it also does damage depending.
Yes.
It's actually a really interesting idea. And I guess it's just I like because one of her poses is just it's very reminiscent of the Discord and Harmony orbs of Zenyatta. So when I first talked to Aaron about this, something that we kind of noticed looking at it was like it almost feels like Orisa, but Orisa felt like a patchwork version of like, you know, Orisa has like skills and bits and pieces from other tanks. It almost feels like Moira is that too, where she has bits and pieces from other healers and implements them in interesting ways. So, yeah, I mean, I once again, I don't feel like there's too much to say about this character until she comes out. Her story inclusion, the idea that she was recruited by Blackwatch was pretty cool. And also in her animated short, she had a Mercy style like suit that she was wearing when she was working on Gabriel. Was pretty cool. But yeah, anything you guys want to close off with this character? It's only speculation, obviously.
But all I can say is I can't wait to get my hands. I can't wait to try her out, I guess. So, you know, hopefully she'll be a lot of fun. I'm happy that they're adding another healer to the game, and I hope that she's good enough to solo heal. But I don't know.
I'm getting the feeling she's not going to be.
Yeah, me too, because it looks like she does too much damage to do that, right? I feel like she's kind of similar niche to Zenyatta.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So, which I'm fine with. Zenyatta's a lot of fun, so. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, I welcome her inclusion in the game, but it's something where I sort of wish she were in the game already, or like 3 months ago. Because it's like, you know, I guess I have this justification where it's like, since Blizzard has shown that they're willing to go back and rework characters like Bastion and Mercy, it's like the core of their kit almost. It feels like what's the point of not releasing, you know, sort of like badly balanced heroes if you're going to do the same thing for pre-existing heroes anyways? Like, you know, you've got Mercy, you've got Diva. Like, a lot of these heroes have had massive changes. Even Reaper, he doesn't have that minigame anymore. And so, yeah, sure, Blizzard, I see that you care about having a perfect, like, an almost perfectly balanced game and not releasing heroes that aren't, you know, like really terrible to play initially. But come on, just give us the heroes already and release them more quickly. The game will just be more balanced if we have a larger hero pool, honestly.
Well, I understand, but also I think that this was pretty. I mean, I feel like they're on the schedule that. Okay, so Ana was released back in July of last year, right?
Yeah.
She came out like a month or two after the game's release. Sombra came out at BlizzCon last year, and then Orisa came out in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you ask me, I mean, that's about. If you're just counting the heroes this year too, this is our third hero of the year. Like,
yeah, but it's like I've played other games too, like
Paladins.
Like, no, like I'll talk about like Rainbow Six for a second. So the game's completely different from Overwatch, except for one thing: they have a class-based like operator system, and they've been releasing like 6 operators each year and this is like their second year now, and it's like. It's an infinitely more. It's something where, you know, I guess Overwatch is very different as a game, but I think, like, even with that, you know, your heroes don't need to be perfectly balanced. But honestly, if you had more of them, it's something where people would sort of figure out. And, you know, there's the stuff like with Winston where it's like he was already pretty strong. It's just people didn't play him. And like people will figure out like hidden tech with heroes over time.
I would like to place an argument against that ideology.
Okay.
I'm gonna use fighting games for my example, because there are some incredibly solid fighting games with smaller rosters, and you know, like let's take BlazBlue for example. The first BlazBlue had like 10 or 12 characters in it, and then every subsequent sequel or let's just use the word patch. Every patch included new characters and tweaks to the already existing characters. The roster for BlazBlue is, I think, a little under or a little above 30 at this point. But it took them years to do that, and it took them years to perfect. And every character in BlazBlue has a person, like, even if they play similarly, has a personality and has, you know, like, they have like a special uniqueness to them. And I would like to then kind of talk about another game I played a little bit earlier in the summer, which was Paladins, a game that doesn't really have a big overarching story. It's more just a bunch of random hosh-posh characters put together. And I want to say like every 2 or so months they release a new character for that game. But they are some of the most forgettable fucking characters I've ever seen. Like some of them are super cool, but some of them are just forgettable. And like it's not great. Like, if you showed me a character, maybe I would know, but honestly, I don't. In Overwatch, because they're so spaced out, not only do they have a personality, and you know, not only do they have, like, you know, like, the fandom will latch onto a character like Moira and make this entire thing out of her because Blizzard spends the time to make sure that she has a backstory, she fits in the world, you know, whether or not it's in direct relation to the Overwatch organization itself. You know, if it's here or there. I mean, let's take a look at Lucio and Diva, but you know, it's there. They spend a lot of time making sure the character is going to fit in the roster and look organic next to the other characters. And
I mean, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to finish off the thought with the idea of, like, I do understand your mentality too when it comes to that kind of stuff, but then I have to remind myself of games like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series, like the Ultimate Ninja Storm series, where like you have like 100+ characters, and while I have the association because of the manga, without that association to the backstory, they're a bunch of, like, I don't know half the name of those characters. Like, but the thing is, from a pure gameplay mechanic, I also understand your perspective. Because,
like, I think it's generally, you know, it's like the character mechanics are one side of it, and then the storytelling is another. But at the same time, it's like the storytelling can probably be done after the fact, and they don't need to be super huge in Talon or any of the organizations necessarily.
Well, yeah, just like Lucio.
Like, it's possible to make characters that don't necessarily have a huge pull or push on anything, really. And given how Blizzard has been treating the story, like, is it really super important that they are super enmeshed in the story? Well, and I wonder why. It's like, for me, it seems like there are fewer and fewer reasons not to be creating more characters more quickly. You know, 1 every 3 months instead of 4 or 5 months now.
I feel like that would lose their uniqueness, though. Because then,
honestly, it's something where, like, you know, there's League of Legends. I'm sure there are some characters in there that are definitely repeats, that definitely are less unique, but there are still a large roster of characters that are unique.
Yeah, but throwing a bunch of garbage with the fruit doesn't make it, like, doesn't make a good salad. You know what? Hang on. We've been talking for a bit. Sora, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I like the cadence that Overwatch currently releases new content. They have 2 good avenues of releasing them through new maps, new skins, and new heroes, and they do it often enough that's good enough for me to jump and hop back in. I have my issues with the game, but I think the rate at which it releases new content is not one of them. So that's where I stand, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's like, I guess I could even make a counterpoint against my own arguments. One being like,
well, sure.
Team Fortress 2 existed. Yeah. And it was super popular for a while.
Well, that's the thing, is that you could go the Team Fortress 2 route. Okay, so you could go the Rainbow Six Siege route, and granted, I haven't played that game, but like, you know, they're pumping out, not pumping out, but like, you know, they're putting out characters consistently at a pretty high cadence, right? They want quantity of heroes, right? Same with League of Legends, same with MOBAs. League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm are new heroes coming out every 3 weeks. They haven't broken that yet. Maybe they've fudged it by 1 week, but sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of heroes in that game now. With Overwatch, or I said with Team Fortress 2 on the other end of the spectrum, there was no new classes added from the beginning of that. Like, there was no extra classes that came out since that game was released. You know, they added new weapons that altered the classes a little bit, but same heroes. And like, Overwatch is somewhere in the middle, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Like, to me, it feels a little bit like Overwatch is trying to dip their hands multiple directions.
Sure.
It's like, you know, they sell themselves as being, you know, this like hybrid shooter that's supposed to be quick and agile, and sort of dipping their hands into the MOBA market almost.
Yeah, a little bit.
It bothers me, I guess, that's, you know, like what it says on the tin doesn't necessarily match up with the expectations that you're brought up to have.
I don't know. I feel like they've been meeting my expectations in terms of putting out new content, you know?
Granted, also, cards on the table, it's like, I'm one of those people who, like, a lot of, like, keeping up with it, like, I guess something in me just rankles against a lot of the decisions in the game, so I feel like it's partially the self-talking.
Sure. I don't agree with everything that they've done with Overwatch, but I don't know. They always give me a compelling enough reason to check back in every now and again, you know?
Hell, I still play like once a week with Aaron and everyone. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Josh, I feel like me and you want different things out of things, and that's why we have this disagreement.
It's almost like you guys are different people. Whoa!
Oh, no.
What do you
crazy.
Mean? By the rules of podcasting, we should be the exact same person and always agree.
Shit. Now we disagree. We have to like go into the streets and like kill each other.
Yeah. With Civil War, everyone. We're in our Marvel Civil War.
That's how we handle our differences in America.
Civil War.
I call being Spider-Man.
Oh no. Oh shit. All right, well, hey guys, let's start closing it up. So thanks guys for watching another exciting episode of the Velvetcast. Be sure to tune in on actually, okay, let's talk about this real quick, because it's something important that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the Velvetcast this week. Normally we use the Velvetcast for announcements for different things for the show, and I guess I'm going to announce it here. You guys are going to get a video in the next couple days announcing it too, but Persona 5 is coming back. We have been working out the kinks for that for like the last 5 days, trying to figure out, make sure everything's ready and set for it. It's coming back soon. I just don't know exactly when. We do have a new attendant who will be helping me do the voiceover for it. You might have saw that Jackie has been helping us do not only stuff on the Discord, but has also been working on the YouTube stuff. So, wish us the best of luck for that. And yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a like.
We do have one podcast question.
Oh, do we? Oh, it's to me.
Oh shit! It's very specifically to Sora.
Okay, it's real quick. So Nexian asked, like, how am I liking Destiny 2? I can keep it brief because again, this is kind of really my type of game and not necessarily your guys' type of game. I'm liking it a lot. I played Destiny 1. When it came during year 2 when Taken King came out, and that was supposedly the good expansion, and I enjoy my time there on PS4. And yeah, it's a loot shooter. I love loot shooters. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games. So the fact that they haven't put out a new Borderlands game in a while means that Destiny's kind of scratching that itch, and Destiny 2 is no different. It's honestly more of the same. There's some issues I have with it in terms of like how it pads out its content. It's getting a little repetitive now. I'm currently at light level or power level, whatever the fuck I'm calling it, 230. So I just unlocked Nightfalls. So I'm like, I beat the game, but I'm still gearing up towards the final raid mission, you know, the end game stuff. And I'm enjoying it. It's fun with friends. It's good, dumb fun. It's like a good podcast game or a good, like, you know, Netflix game where you're watching something on the second monitor, because the game does not ask much mental fortitude from you. So it's good to zone out and hang out with friends. So it's good, dumb popcorn fun. I'm enjoying it, and honestly, I feel like if it's your type of game, you would have known that by now. You know, like, so if you're on the fence about it, like, yeah, I would say I would go for it. But if people are trying to convince you and it doesn't seem like your type of game, stay away, I'd say. So nothing revolutionary, but lots of fun. Oh yeah, that's Destiny 2.
All right. If you like this video, give it a like. It'll always let us know what to be prioritizing on the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, give that button a click, because, you know, the more subscribers, the more stuff we do. And if you super love the show, we have a Patreon set up where it's trying to generate some exclusive content for you guys. Actually, one of the ideas that we had was the idea of playing games, like doing streams that are exclusive to the Patreon, and then like using the footage from that for highlights. Like what I did for the Witcher video and stuff like that, or the Persona 3 portable one. Because that was fun. That was fun. That was like, you know, a quick little bit. Anyways, guys, next time on the Velvet Room.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for listening.
Night.
Bye.